Greetings to everybody. Difficult side, very physical, typical team from Africa. They play a direct game, not much combinations. They just go wide, they want to cross. But what's important for us is the position that we put ourselves. We did not score away from home. We could have been the perfect scenario. But having said that, it's important that there's no draw that we can play now. We have to play to win the match, irrespective of the scoreline. That's what we have been working on. Try and score, but we must limit them from scoring because we know the outcome and how it works out. We're confident on how we have prepared based on the previous match, league match that we played. The team looks to be on the positive shape in terms of creating more chances to score. We are positive that we'll get a good outcome.
Abel?
Greetings everybody. Yes, just to add on what the coach was saying, yes, it was a physical game. They were a bit physical, and of course we wanted to get the goal, even though it was a goalless draw. So it's very important for us to get the positive results come Sunday so we can go into the next round of the tournament.
We're fully aware of the situation, and maybe our main focus is scoring, because again, if they don't score and we don't score, we still come to the same situation. While we are aware that we should score, but our rest defense, our defensive balance should be on point. That's what we have been working on. And like I said, based on how we have prepared, on how we played the previous match, it looks positive. We know the threat from the opponents, dribbling on the sides for only one reason. They want to cross. They've got very physical strikers in the box. But I think we have the capacity to do that and then move into the next round. Sometimes it's sad when you read some of the articles on the media that are not true. There are a lot of speculation, and for me it becomes very irresponsible when some of the statements that come out of the media, whether through the national team coach or anybody, the situation of Mosele, if you are in a position that I'm in, is very sad without revealing too much. But I understand his situation, and if the coach chooses to choose him or not, it's in his right to do that. But in a position that the boy was in, I'm fully supportive of what happened to him, and right now he's back in training, and we support his cause as a club and as coaches in front of him. But what the coach says about players and how he says it, sometimes I wish it could be controlled and be done in a better manner. But I'm not in his shoes. But if I were to do the same thing where he's standing, I'll do things differently. Unfortunately, in football, we've got so many things to work on. Firstly, when we were given an opportunity, we worked on intensity, we worked on fitness, football fitness, and we worked on trying to retain and maintain the ball as long as we can. And then the next phase is working on the attacking third. We have been doing that. And like I said, the previous match, I thought we were unfortunate. We created so many chances. Our attacking third was perfect, except for putting the ball in the net. So we have been working a lot on that, working on set plays. So we're working on everything, one step at a time. And I'm confident if we do the things the way we have been preparing, a lot of good results are going to follow.
That you just have to make sure that you win your home games and make sure that you seal the results in your home matches. And I think that's the most important lesson that we have learned as a team from the previous campaign. So it's important for us to make sure that we get the good results that we need in our home games.
I'm always cautious about opponents, especially in that area, and the little knowledge that we have about them. We can only use the information that we have after having played them. Based on how they played, they did not look like a team that has not played for a long time. So we'll use that as a measure and prepare from there. Although the surface was artificial, they look very fit. They look very physical, very prepared. So we'll just prepare for a team that is normal and prepares normal and try and score goals. And I think it's important that Pirates must have more goals than the opponents so that we can just move into the next round. I can't read much on their status, on how much they've played and how less they've played. It's very unfortunate that as a coach I have to make excuses. I know coaches are not allowed to make excuses, but Pirates have been very unfortunate in my presence. I know it happens in all clubs, injuries, but for the amount of injuries that our club has gone through, not injuries based on the bad training, but injuries that are contact injuries. You can list 15 players that are out in the club currently. That does not give us the better chance. It's not an excuse, like I said, but if we had all the players at the right place and the change in leadership, any process of change, any process of injuries like it's happening needs time. But I know in football you just have to win every game, especially in this club of ours. And we understand the frustration of our supporters. This brand must always be where you are saying on top. But with all what I've mentioned above, I understand the process. I understand why it's happening. It's predestination. We are where we are right now, but we can only be better from this. And from what I see, we are going to be better very soon.
Yeah, and just to answer your question, yes, we worked previously together in Maritzburg, and we had a football time there also, and I just want to emulate that and to make sure that the team is in a better position and we challenge for things and we compete for things and we compete to win trophies, and that's just what I'm just here for, to help the team move forward and to put in those good performances week in, week out.
To be blunt, I wish there could be better communication from national coaches and coaches in the PSL. But honestly, it's not at the best. I don't know the reasons. If maybe there was a contact about Mabaso, who's a good player, on how he plays, what are his strengths, what are his weaknesses, maybe they will understand better how the club uses him. But for the lack of that, it puts us where we are. Pule in the national team got injured. Maybe better communication, some things could have been avoided. I'm not here to lambast maybe the other party, but I'm speaking the truth. Some of the things you wish they could be done better. Mabaso, who is very good in certain areas, like all players, has got weaknesses. But maybe a better communicated scenario would have made him perform better. The coach gave his reasons on his game plan, what he wanted from him. But maybe where I'm sitting, I would have done things differently. So one, we have spoken to him. We're still using him. He's still our best player. He's still our best striker. And we're still going to continue using him. And then I hope maybe with the better understanding, when he goes back into the setup, he will be more useful into the national setup. Firstly, playing in Africa, the opponents have the same trick. One, they'll just destabilize you in all forms, and the terrain is not going to make it easier for you. One, in a hot surface, that type of artificial turf is very hot. The artificial turfs are not the same. The one in DRC is the one when there's heat. The heat then comes from the surface into the boots, plastic boots, whatever boots the players are using. Which is why we recommended to our players not to put water in their boots because they will have blisters. One, it was very hot. The bump of the ball is unpredictable. So what we use to have how the ball bounces in a normal turf is different from an artificial turf. The flow of the ball, how quickly it moves, is also affected. So how you take set plays, the ball that they were using. So there's so many adjustments that you have to get used to. But having said that, when you play in Africa, you must be adapted. Pirates have been there before. They've played there before. They've won before. So one cannot use that as an excuse while we understand everything else that surface presents. Injury update? Is that the next question? Currently, Mabaso, you'll help me. With so many injuries that are taking place in our club, you even lost count of how many players are out in the sick bed. But currently, there's not many players that are out except the ones that you know. Lodge is still out. Pule is still out. Ofori is still out. Who else, Mabaso?
Like the club, if you can go to the website, they'll give you the updates, and I think you'll be much more informed there. And I think the club will sort you out and the club's website, to be honest with you.
From your question, I can hear an answer already at the end. But having said that, I'll try and respond. It can work both ways. If results are good, you'll want fans to be there because they become the 12th player. For the players that are new and young, it can work against them, but you will never know. It's something that you can't judge. It's only my discretion that is saying that. But for Pirates, being the club that it is, at some point, with all safety precautions having been taken, it will be good to have the fans. Football is an entertainment sport, and it's football because of the fans. So at a point when it's safe, fans will come back into the stadiums. But for now, irrespective of what happens, we'll still take what is here and respect all the government protocols for the current situation that is taking place in our country. When scenarios like in our club are happening, adversity is breakfast for champions. And I said to the players, so when some things happen like that, you can either see the positive or the negative. You can't change what has happened, but you can change what is going to happen. So one, it's an opportunity for players that have not been playing. It's an opportunity for us coaches to see the players that have not played. So while everything else looks like on the downslide, there's a plus that we are giving the youngsters, we are giving players that are new and players that have not been playing an opportunity. I hope that it gels well soon, but it increases the pool of players that we can choose from going forward. The mandate from the club is very clear, and you can only do better than what you have done before, and maybe go all the way, but one step at a time. We have to improve our performances in the field of play. But on that side, we will want to achieve as coaches, achieve as players, just besides what the club is looking for. We will do our best under these conditions that I've mentioned, but the team looks like it's on the rise. The players that we have tried, there's an improvement in our game, which is more important to me. For me, let's improve our football. When we improve the football, it will improve a lot of deficiencies that are within our setup. And so once we do that, train the team, not players. Have all players ready to perform at any stage when they are selected. And I think we are on that stage currently, and it looks positive.
No, it's not gone. Should I repeat, Coach?
Okay, Kabaltag, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Should I repeat, Coach?
I heard you clearly. The issue of communication between coaches and the national team, I don't want to repeat what has been said by other coaches. For the fact of the problems that other clubs are mentioning that are happening in our club with the national team, it just shows that something is not done correctly. I'll use an example of the previous coach from where I was. I've met him personally. He came to training to see our team training, discussed with the technical team. He addressed the team on his expectation, the previous coach who was there. I would have expected that the same will continue. But to be honest, it has not happened for whatever reason. So it becomes very difficult that it's a mutual connection. I've tried to communicate with some members, but it should not be done that way. It should not be done in isolation, where one coach from one club must try and connect with the coach. The structure must inform what are the expectations of the national coach from coaches. And I think it's an area that needs to be ironed out, and it will lessen the problems that we have currently in terms of injuries of players. An example, if we're having a loading session today and the player is selected in the national team tomorrow and they have a loading session, already on that is a risk of injuries. A better understanding and communication between the two parties will help the national team, will also help the team, so that when our players come back from the national team, they're still useful into the team. And I think that's highly important, but it's not happening currently.
Just on the score being 1-1 coach advantage.
It's just obvious. If you are in this position that you are in, it's 0-0. We have to score. We have to win the match. There's no draw that helps Pirates currently. Whether 0-0, it doesn't help. 1-1 doesn't help. It gives the advantage to the opponents. So Pirates must win the match. And based on what we have seen, the capacity is here to win the match. We created better chances in the first match. In those hot conditions, I think we played better. We just couldn't put the ball in the net, which is why our preparation currently is more focused on scoring, on the attacking third, on the entries, on the final shot, on the decision in the final third. Can I recommend a book to you, my brother? There's a book, 5 Levels of Leadership. Get that book. The stages there are position. First one is position. The next one is permission. The third one is the team accepting you and production. So production, I'm in that stage. Whether I'm a cleaner, whether I'm a kitman, what matters to me is the badge of Pirates and Pirates doing well. And I put all my energies on focus on that. All the others, the titles, I'm just not interested. So if you want to title me as an assistant, as a co-coach, as a caretaker coach, as a head coach, it matters less to me. What matters the most is Pirates doing well in my presence, whether in any position. And that question for me is just a question that I don't think becomes relevant at this current position. I'm very sectional when you come to that. You know, KZN people always have this Zulu mentality. It will be nice to see South African teams doing well in CAF Championship. It has got a lot of benefits. So AmaZulu are no different. It will be nice to see them doing well. Coach Penny, I haven't shared with him personally, but I will wish AmaZulu to do well. And it will be nice from that province for a number of reasons for them to do well. But Pirates must be the first and others can follow. Nda is a modern defender, a defender that any coach will love to work with. Comfortable on the ground in the build attack. He can use both feet. He's strong in the air. He can defend 1 versus 1. It affords the team an opportunity to play with the high line. If we want to press on top, if we want to press opponents, you should not be worried about the space behind. He presents you with that dynamic. I even think that at some point you can even play him in the middle of the park. That is what he presents in our team. He's strong on set plays, defensively and offensively. He's just a complete defender. Maybe very soon he should be even going higher than where he is right now. But I'm really happy for the contribution that he has provided in our setup. Let's get there and take it from there. But he is very useful in our club. And I'm happy for the club to have acquired him to help the club currently. But he is going to be very useful in our club going forward.
Yeah, just to answer your question, yeah, this season I started as centre midfield, and of course, if needed be, if I can play right back, I'll definitely play. But definitely, I've been enjoying more game time in midfield, and I look forward to building on that position.